Back running.
They all
I did 30 today.
just other blindside.
Just in case.
I don't think there's any here from my shoes, so they're blindsided. You ready? Ready?
Call the Monday, August 5th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. The roll call, please.
Mr. Lamont.
Here.
Mr. Sucker.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Here.
Mr. Levine.
Here. Everyone have a chance to review the minutes from the July 1st meeting?
I did move to approve.
Second. Mr. Miller approved, or made the motion. Who seconded back there?
Yes.
Mr. Lamont?
Okay. Mr. Levine.
Abstain?
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Sucker.
Yes.
Mr. Lamont.
Yes.
We have no old business, but before we move on to new business, we're going to excuse
Thank you.
Mr. Levine for the first case. So before we get started, anyone who's going to speak on anything that we're presenting tonight, if you would stand. The Kennedys, yes, you need to stand. Raise your right hand. Everybody's going to speak. I'm going to swear you in here. Anyone else want to speak tonight? Even if I swear in, you don't have to speak. It's just kind of one of those things. You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may be seated. First on the agenda, conditional use for semi-public use within an A4 district for the property located at 6505 West Sylvania Avenue, parcel number 78-34307, Sylvania Township Zoning Regulations, Section 602. Darrell, can I have your report, please?
Article 25 of the Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution provides a means for the approval of certain uses not normally permitted in a given zone district. Section 2500 states, quote, "Under certain unusual circumstances, a use of property which typically affects an area more intensely than those uses permitted in the zoning district in which it is located may nonetheless be desirable and compatible with permitted uses if that use is properly controlled and regulated. Such uses shall be listed as conditional uses within the respective zoning districts. The Board of Zoning Appeals may grant conditional approval for use of the land, buildings, or other structures and may allow such a use to be established where such approval will be consistent with the general purpose and intent of the zoning resolution as well as the general purpose and intent of the Sylvania Township Land Use Plan," end quote. The applicant is requesting a conditional use be granted for a semi-public use within an A4 district for the property at 6505 West Sylvania Avenue. Semi-public use is a listed conditional use under Article 6, A4 Rural Residential of the zoning resolution. In addition to the office space, the applicant intends to operate a child daycare / preschool within the 9,030 square foot building on the site. Previously, that use had been employed on the site by the Young Men's Christian Association of Greater Toledo. Although zoned residential, the subject property does not abut any residential dwellings apart from multifamily uses on the opposite side of Sylvania Avenue. The existing building on the site, constructed in 2007, sets approximately 200 feet back from the center line of Sylvania Avenue. This is double the 100-foot requirement prescribed in Section 2222 of the zoning resolution. A signalized intersection on Sylvania Avenue regulates traffic flow at the intersection of that thoroughfare with the access drive to the subject property. Adequate parking for the proposed use is provided via parking areas on the north and south side of the building, with a total of 37 parking stalls, of which 4 are designated handicap accessible. An approximate 2,500 square foot play area abuts the east side of the building. Staff recommends approval with conditions of the requested conditional use for the property located at 6505 West Sylvania Avenue for the following 3 reasons. The request is consistent with the general objectives of the Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution. The request is harmonious with the existing character of the general vicinity and will not alter that character. And the request will not be significantly detrimental or impact negatively to nearby properties or the general public. Staff further recommends that the Board of Zoning Appeals approve this conditional use request subject to the 11 conditions listed by agency of origin and presented in the July 24th, 2019 Lucas County Plan Commission hearing on this request.
Thank you, Darrell. Any questions of Darrell?
What was in the building before? What did they use the building for before?
I believe it was the same use, it was the YMCA. Or do you mean prior
Was
to
there a
that?
conditional use on it before, or?
If you like, I can.
Yeah, the applicant is here as well. I believe it, prior to that, it was just office use. I think that's what the conditional use originally had been for.
So Jason Levine on behalf of the applicant UJC Holdings. For the last 10 plus years, the YMCA has operated a daycare facility on the premises. Yes, it's zoned A4. Prior to that, there was a conditional use permit granted in the 70s for use as office space. However, the tenant, the YMCA, did not apply for anything for the 10 plus years of occupancy they had.
Any other questions of Darrell?
No.
If the applicant would like to present their case?
Thank you. We have had the opportunity to review all of the recommendations of the Planning Commission, so we're fine with the condition that it's subject to the approval of the 11 conditions from Lucas County Planning Commission. Like I mentioned, we're looking to basically continue the existing use that's been there for the last decade. At the end of 2018, the YMCA purchased a JCC building. In the JCC building, the parent company for UJC Holdings was operating the preschool, and within the building that they're looking to relocate into, the YMCA was locating their daycare program. As a condition, after the sale, it was to switch so that the owner of each building has their own respective daycare or preschool in their same building. So this is just filling that last piece of that purchase, as well as cleaning up the fact that there was not a conditional use prior for the building.
Makes sense?
Jason, on a couple of these, it sort of implies that there are no plans for some of the conditions.
Yeah.
Are there any plans for any of these?
There is nothing currently in the works that triggers the if this, then we have a condition. None on the premises at the moment.
Anything? Would like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use for semi-public use within an A4 district for the property located at 6505 West Sylvania Ave, parcel number 78-34307, accordance with the Sylvania Township zoning resolution, section 602, with the 11 conditions that were outlined in the staff report. Gerald, do we need to read all 11?
No.
Okay.
Second?
Right. Before you read that, is there anyone else who wants to speak on behalf of this? Okay.
Okay, Mr. Lemon?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Levine is back in his seat. Second item of new business, the variance request for a front yard setback from 35 feet required to 28.3 provided for the legal non-conforming property located at 4937 Homerdale Avenue, parcel number 7855954, Sylvania Township zoning regulation, section 603. Darrell, the staff report.
The subject property is a legal, non-conforming lot of record located in the Minor Park Subdivision, plat recorded in 1941. The existing dwelling on the site was constructed in 1949, 7 years before zoning was enacted in Sylvania Township in December 1956. Single-family dwellings are on all sides of the subject parcel. All of the dwellings, apart from those on the opposite side of Homerdale, are in the Minor Park Subdivision. The existing dwelling has 2 attached garages. The garage on the north side of the property represents the frontmost part of the dwelling at 28.3 feet front setback. The subject property is zoned A4 Rural Residential. Section 603 of the zoning resolution mandates a minimum 35-foot front setback for main structures within an A4. The applicant intends to demolish the existing dwelling with the exception of the attached garage on the north side and construct a new home attached to that existing garage. Section 2603 of the zoning resolution requires that a non-conforming building or structure shall not be enlarged, extended, altered, or moved without approval by the Board of Zoning Appeals. Additionally, the applicants are requesting a 6.7-foot variance from Section 603 in order to leave the non-conforming garage 28.3 feet from the public right-of-way of Homerdale Avenue. The applicant maintains that the location of the leach field in the rear yard of the property, along with the existence of 6 mature oak trees, presents constraints to siting the new dwelling within the prescribed front setback. The site plan of the proposed dwelling indicates compliance to the rear and side setbacks. Furthermore, Plat 2 of the Minor Park Subdivision dictates a 50-foot front building line. If the subject request for a variance is granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals, the applicant will be required to submit to a single lot replat approval from the Lucas County Plan Commission. Staff recommends approval with condition of the requested variance from the required minimum front setback of 35 feet in an RA rural residential district to 28.3 feet provided, a variance of 6.7 feet for the property located at 4937 Homerdale Avenue for the following 4 reasons. The structure is pre-existing and legal non-conforming. No new principal structures may be constructed within any setbacks. The location of the leach field and several mature trees presents practical difficulty in the siting of a new dwelling. Approval of this variance should not present a negative impact upon the public good or neighboring properties or impair the visibility or safety of the traveling public. And approval of this variance should not alter the intent of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution. Staff further recommends that the requested variance shall be subject to the following condition of approval. The subject property shall be replatted to reflect the alteration of the 50-foot front building line dictated by the Minor Park Plat 2 subdivision recorded October 9, 1941. Application for replats are submitted to the Lucas County Plan Commission and approved or denied by that body.
Thank you, Darrell. Anyone on the board have questions for Darrell? Okay, the applicant is here. Would like to step forward, state your name for the record, and sign in on the book, please.
Bob Lehman, Matt Fisher on behalf of Mr. Lehman. Mr. Hayes, how are you, sir?
Good.
Been a while.
Whenever you speak at that microphone so it gets recorded. Thank you.
So the reason for this is just because I have difficulty complying because of the leach field location in the back. I've already replaced my septic system, so I've used up all the backyard possible with the original one that was in there and the one that I've replaced. Can't go backwards. And the trees that really lend a lot of flavor to the neighborhood are I don't want to cut down 50-year-old oak trees that add a lot to the neighborhood. And there's plenty of room to put the house within those constraints if you permit this use.
And also, if you note that right now the house encroaches onto the neighboring lot, which Mr. Lehman also owns. When he rebuilt, that side yard encroachment now will be within the confines of the one lot only. So the house will be rebuilt within all the appropriate setbacks except for the front yard. Also, the neighbors, some of them are here today. They are all in support of this proposal.
Questions of the applicant?
He answered one question I had.
So I have a question for the applicant. You heard the recommendation from our from Daryl here that we put a condition on of getting this replatted. Have you looked into this? Do you have any thoughts or issues with the condition that he's requesting?
So I have not had an opportunity to look into this yet.
Okay.
I guess the question I would have for the board would be, do you really want us to replat that particular lot in the event that somebody would ever want to tear down that house in the future or put it to another use? Would you want to keep that 50-foot setback in, or would we just have the setback from the plat?
Also, I went down to the Lucas County office, and apparently it's quite a bureaucratic process to get it replatted, and they only meet once a month, and again, this puts more delay and time and energy into the process if it's not critical that we're likely not going to build on that again for how many years in the future.
So from your perspective, the reasoning for putting the condition on,
The Lucas County Plan Commission requested that. It's
They
a
requested it?
requirement. The building line for the plat is 50 feet, so if something is not going to be built according to that, it needs to be replatted. Both my contact at the Plan Commission and myself were at a loss as to how the plat was approved in 41, the house was built in 49, how it was built, not according to the 50-foot front building line back in 49, we don't know. We just speculate that what was going on in 49 was huge building boom in the country, baby boom, just watch it. Things are, probably just falling through the cracks, so busy, but
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
that's just speculation. But yeah, the requirement on the plat is 50 feet, so any alteration to that would have to be replatted.
okay,
We don't have to go by what the county says.
I was going to ask the same question. You can't ask Daryl that.
Well, again...
Legally, I
that's-
think he's asking legally. Do we have to?
I'm not an attorney, but I don't think so. I mean, the Plan Commission is requiring it be replatted, but...
Mr. Fisher, have you had experience with something like this in your past?
I have not, in the recent past, no. I mean, I know Tom Gibbons well, but if we probably would have to go in front of a meeting of the Plan Commission itself. Again, it just adds continued delay to that process. We would prefer not to have to do that, Mr. Schlachter, if we don't have to, obviously, because I think the laymen are anxious to get started on building. If we're forced to live with it, obviously we will, but we would prefer not to have to live with that.
Would we be able to maybe place the condition on in which we would grant it and then only revoke if the process is not completed? Just trying to think through how we get everybody something. We may need to go back and discuss that.
I think probably we let everyone speak. If there's any other questions, then we can go back and discuss. Anything else you'd like to add?
I would just respectfully request that you take that stipulation off of this variance request.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on behalf of this matter, either for or against? We have a taker.
My name is Dan Scheck. I live,
You sign in there.
oh, sure.
Check.
So I live, directly east of the Layman's. My wife and I, we really have no objection at all. He's basically rebuilding a brand-new house, and I'm sure it's going to be assessed at a greater value, and we all know what that means, too, for the Sylvania Township as well. We've been there 2 years. They're exemplary neighbors. We love having it here. We don't want to see them go. They went to the extent of looking for new property, even to build. They kept coming back to the area, and thankfully for us, too. So, again, we're ecstatic that they're staying. We totally endorse what they're doing. I don't want to see them penalized for something that, when they bought the house, they weren't aware of the errors in the building of the existing structure. I would hope that you guys would grant them that leniency, if you will. so they can get going on what they want to do and continue to be our neighbors.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, he's writing his address.
You want my address?
You can say it for the record.
4921 Homerdale.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in the matter?
You go ahead.
John Kennedy, 4930 Corville Avenue. I live directly behind Bob Lehman, and Eileen and I have been trying to keep him in the neighborhood for a long time because we know him and we like him. And he's a good provider of tax revenue for the township with his business, and he's just been a wonderful neighbor to have. We don't want to lose him. So anything that you gentlemen can do to support him, even if it's with a conditional tip of the nod or a hat to the Plan Commission, I'm familiar with the bureaucratic process that's involved there, but if you can do something that would allow him to proceed quickly and expeditiously, we might even have an open house party. So thanks very much for your...
Just sign your name there too, Mr. Kennedy, on the sheet. Anyone else?
You got a way to get around it.
All right, so we're going to adjourn for a few minutes and discuss, and we'll be back shortly.
All right.
We'll meet back over at 5:35 PM. So we've closed the public discussion. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the variance request for a front yard setback from 35 feet required to 28.3 feet provided for the legal non-conforming property located at 4937 Homerdale Avenue, parcel number 78-55954, Sylvania Township zoning resolution, section 603, subject to the condition that the applicant apply for the replatting of the property by this Friday, August 9th.
Second.
So just to clarify the
motion.
the stipulation that's set forth,
Stipulation listed by Darrell, we would allow that to run concurrently. So while that application is going forward, you would be able to move forward with a basically provisional grant of our approval going through that process. And that condition will of course be removed once the process with the Planning Commission is completed.
If I may make a request,
state your name again when you arrive.
Matt Fisher again on behalf of the applicant. So this Friday, August 9th, might be a tight deadline for us to get everything submitted by. I believe we have until the 20th of this month to have everything in so that we meet September's meeting. I believe I need to provide 15 copies of prints. At this point in time, we don't really have the house designed yet because we didn't know what we could or couldn't do. So I don't know any idea on how long it's going to take to draw up some plans as to what we want to do with it.
While that's going on, Darrell, what is the deadline for the September hearing? Because I thought we had that figured out, but...
August 12th.
I've got August 12th on my chart.
Okay.
For the Plan Commission?
Yes. And that's why we gave the...
I get on the,
Okay.
that's
You have to
September
bring drawings and
25th.
everything to that meeting to get it replotted.
I'm sorry?
Does he have to bring drawings and all that to the meeting? He just asking the property to be
Replatted.
replotted. Is that correct? I'm asking, I don't know.
I think drawings probably are required.
I'm guessing they're going to want to see what it's
I
going to
just
look
don't
like
know if
before
it's
they
part of the
grant
application,
the replat.
can't they just go down there and ask for that property to be replotted?
No, what is an application and materials that have to be submitted, and the Plan Commission does their recommendation, a staff report and a recommendation, the Plan Commission staff, and then the board, the Plan Commission, will make the decision.
I was told when I asked about this, that I had to have 15 registered copies from my surveyor and engineer.
I didn't know you had to have.
And they did not have a timeline of how long it would take them to get those.
Okay.
And I hope that they can get it, I've had the survey up to date, but they did not have a timeline for those certifiable copies to be made and available to the planning commission. That's an unknown to me, how long they'll require for that.
Dr. Lehman, did they say a site plan or a building plan? My guess is they said a site plan.
Site plan.
Okay. The site plan would just show where the house is to be located on.
Not building drawing.
Building plan.
But they didn't ask for building drawings, they just asked why I wanted to do it.
But at this time, do you have a site plan that shows the approximate location and what the house is going to look like?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we can do that by Friday, right, Tom? Close
Yeah.
to site plan?
Yeah, because you're going to need Mr. Lewandowski.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our purpose for the time frame was to save you time.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And the purpose for putting the condition on is protect you in the long run. You're going to tear a house down, invest a lot of money in a new house, and when you go to sell it, the last thing we want to have happen is have something non-conforming and have an issue. So although this is an extra step, and you might feel we're penalizing you, we're really trying to look out for your interest as a property owner, and at the same time, not add a lot of time to your process. So we could amend, if you'd like, that time frame to 45 days, if you like. But we were just trying to keep you in
Protect you.
step with the county's plan.
So understanding that, I guess maybe from my end, or from where I'm at, just in the event that there'd be any hiccups, it's what I'm trained to do, right? So I would prefer not to have a date in there. If you would grant the variance, subject to our meeting that condition, then we will expeditiously move forward. That puts a burden on us, but I don't want to have a deadline out there that if something happens for whatever reason, and we don't meet it, then I got to come back in front of you guys again. So I think that would make more sense. Your wife's going to want to make sure that this thing gets done quickly. So she's probably more of a impetus to getting it done than a deadline that you guys are going to give us, if that's fair.
That's fine. So would you like to
I'll amend my motion.
amend your motion? Thank you. All
Well,
right.
actually, as part
Hold on
of...
one second. Go ahead. Did you have something, Dr. Lehman?
I'm just curious how I would have found this out when I bought the house in the first place, and they didn't have any sort of information about it. That's okay. Thank you.
Apply for a permit to rebuild the house.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
point of order, I believe he has to withdraw.
Yeah, I'd like to withdraw my initial motion.
Would you like to propose?
And then I'd like to propose a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the variance request for a front yard setback from 35 feet required to 28.3 feet provided for the legal non-conforming property located at 4937 Homerdale Avenue, parcel number 78-55954, Sylvania Township zoning resolution, section 603, subject to the requirement that the applicant get the property replatted in a timely fashion.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second. Vote.
Mr. Romano?
Yes.
Mr. Schlenker?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Seeing you, Matt. How's it going? Good. Great. Yes.
Ride your bike? Last item on the agenda is a variance request for a reduction in the lot width minimum of 70 required feet to 62 feet provided for lots 36, 37, and 38 of the proposed Plat 2 of the Walnut Springs Subdivision on the property located at 9166 Sylvania-Metamora Road, parcel number 78-00127, Sylvania Township zoning resolution, section 803. Darrell, the staff report, please.
Section 803 of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution stipulates a 70-foot minimum lot width for lots within an R1 residential zone district. Lot width is measured between the property lines at the building setback line. The applicant is requesting an 8-foot variance on each of 3 contiguous lots within the proposed Walnut Springs Plat 2 subdivision, thus reducing the lot width to 62 feet at the building line. The preliminary drawing for Plat 2 has been revised from its original inception in 2005 in order to connect Walnut Springs Boulevard south of the subject lots with the adjoining subdivision, Edgewater Place, to the west. Lots number 36, 37, and 38 are the first 3 lots on the convex west side of Walnut Springs Boulevard in Plat 2. The lots are wedge-shaped with the narrowest portion of the lots at the right-of-way line. The greatest amount of the lot depth is wider than 70 feet. The applicant maintains that the proposed reduction in lot width will not reduce the building footprint of the proposed single-family dwellings. Final approval of Plat 2 will be before the Lucas County Plan Commission. Staff recommends approval of the requested variance from the required minimum lot width of 70 feet in an R1 residential zone district to 62 feet for lots 36, 37, and 38 of Walnut Springs Plat 2, located currently on the property at 9166 Sylvania-Metamora Road, for the following 3 reasons. Approval of this variance should not present a negative impact upon the public good or neighboring properties or impair the visibility or safety of the traveling public. Approval of this variance should not alter the intent of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution. The vast majority of each lot will still be wider than 70 feet due to the tapered shape of the lots.
Thank you, Darrell. Any questions from the board of Darrell? The applicant's here. State your name.
My name is Dean Frederick & Associates. We're actually the civil engineer surveyor for the project, 4645 North Summit Street.
Thank you. Go ahead.
This is kind of a condition, in general, just as we go into Plat 2 and Plat 3, we're actually reducing the number of lots in the overall development itself because of the larger 1-acre lots that are in the back. Within Plat 1 of Walnut Springs, there's actually already 8 lots within Plat 1 that don't meet the 70-foot setback. So in terms of this going in front of this board with the consideration we have in place, it's already been somewhat set forth as far as Plat 1 in similar format as far as the pie-shaped, wedge-shaped lots off the cul-de-sacs and off the initial bend of Walnut Springs Boulevard as it comes off of Sylvania-Metamora.
How many plats are there in this subdivision?
There will actually ultimately only be 3 plats. Plat 1 is already obviously up and constructed. Plat 2 is the public connection to the adjacent, and Plat 3 is the roadway cul-de-sac to the rear, which has the larger 1-acre lots on it.
So in this subdivision, this is the last time you'll have this issue?
That is correct.
Questions of the applicant?
I have some questions. Will the houses be the same square footage on that lot? Because they won't be able to have, they have to have the setback on each side, so they'll be a smaller house, correct?
No, the builder that was looking at those lots, I mean, nobody builds a square house anymore. There's always in-steps as far as the garage forward, porch back, things like that. So they have similar square footage that they're looking at because they have the availability of depth to go back and kind of extend the house back to get the same square footage on it. And as you go back through the pie-shaped lot, you can start to step the house out as the setbacks go back on it. Whether you want to do a bump out for a master bath or a breakfast nook or come off the side behind the garage for a mudroom or something to that effect.
Good answer.
That's all I had.
So at the building line, these lots are how wide? Lot 36 is 62.3, lot 37 is 63.5, and lot 38 is 63.5. Okay. And if you go into Plat 1, you'll see some of those that are at 58 feet, some of them are at 68 feet, 67 feet, and 62 feet. All right. Any questions? Anyone else like to speak on this matter? State your name for the record and sign the sheet there, please.
Jeff Beasley. I just have a couple questions. There's 2 more lots adjacent to these 3 at the end.
39 and 40?
Yes, are those going to be, are those the right width currently? Or are those going to be requested? A change as well? And then were the first lots that aren't the right size currently, were those approved the first time? In lot 1, Plot 1.
What's your address? Can you state it for the record?
6018 Porsche Drive.
All right, thank you. Darrell, can you answer the second question?
No, I can't. I was looking into it, and I could not find anything that stated why those were approved.
Okay.
As they were. I believe that was in 05, 06, something like that. And then regarding the lot 39 and lot 40, they do have the required width.
At the building line.
And are those in the same?
Lot 39 looks like it's, I'm going to say 74 point, I need the eye doctor back in here. 74.6 or .8 feet. And then lot 40, it's not listed, but it's greater than that, yeah.
Is that in the same plot? Because he said there's 3 more homes to build, that's it, but yes, I see 5.
So the only ones that need the variance are the 3 that are set for 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40 already conform.
Already conform, so those
are okay.
Okay, all right. So I mean, my worry is we're putting houses too close, right? And, and that, we don't want that, more. So I'm good with it, I mean, all these houses, but where was the first approval and why did we do it, is my biggest thing. So I don't want them, right next to each other. That's the last thing I want to see.
Well, now, the houses don't get any closer. The sides, they'll still have to submit to the side setback. It's just the width.
So the width is the only thing we're changing.
Right, and that's near the...
So is the backyard smaller then?
Backyard is the same as the distance off the ponds that they were as part of Plat 1.
Okay.
The side yard remains the same. The only thing, when you look at the front of the houses will still be the same distance apart visually.
Yep.
They just might step back as you go back.
And how much do we know the square, footage that we're losing with this request total in the neighborhood?
Square footage, you're talking about of the house or of the lot?
Lots. When you're reducing, the yard itself, because... that's a big deal, having yard and distance out here. We moved out here for space, right? And you're coming in here and you're putting more and more in. And I get we have acre lots coming, but is there going to be requests to change that as well? I just want to make sure we're not causing more difficulty down the pipe. If they want to put more yard in, hey, we're going to change this to our next, then we're going to put a bunch more houses now. Because, hey, we did it before, now we can put 7 more houses where we shouldn't have 7 more houses because of past decisions that we don't know why. I just want to make sure we made this decision for a reason, and now we don't know why we've changed that.
Well, if you look at lots 39 and 40 that are conforming, one's 15,664 square feet, the other one's 13,228 square feet. 38's 14.5, 37's 21.5, and 36 is 26.4.
Okay.
So these 3 lots, from a square footage perspective, are larger than the 2 that are conforming.
Okay.
So, and the side yards don't change.
Yep.
I understand.
Good, that's fine, I just wanna make sure, like, we're making policy that's gonna be followed, and not just, oh, just we did it before, because I can make a lot of things happen then, and that I don't think we want.
Which is my reasoning for the question about the finality of the plat, for that exact reason.
Because, so this plat is, that's it, what we're seeing here, correct?
That's correct. The actual engineering drawings for sanitary, water, and storm have already been submitted.
Okay.
So, pending this body.
And come up to the mic.
Yes, the construction drawings, sanitary, water, and storm have already been submitted for this. So pending the outcome of this body, we're hoping to go back for final plat. We've already been through preliminary plat. And the reduction in lot width was brought up at the planning commission meeting. It was actually supported by the planning commission to allow the reduction of the lot width as part of their comments. Again, we're not adjusting side yard setbacks or anything else, but what you see here is basically what's going to be built, because the construction drawings are already in.
On plat 3 as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's plat 3 or 2?
The public roadway portion that we're talking about right now with the variance is actually plat 2.
Okay.
Plat 3 is the 1 acre lots going off to the north.
Okay. And plat 3, are we asking for plat 3 as well in this? Or is it
No,
just-
this variance only applies to those 3 lots.
Okay.
All the other lots would have to comply with the zoning. That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else like to speak on this matter? Thank you. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion for the variance request for a reduction in the lot width minimum of 70 feet required to 62 feet, provided for lots 36, 37, 38 for the proposed Plat 2 of the Walnut Springs Subdivision on the property located at 9166 Sylvania-Metamora Road, parcel number 78-00127, Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution, Section 803. Second.
Okay, Mr. Levine?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Lennon?
Yes. Okay, motion's approved. Okay, that's all we have on the agenda. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Mr. Lennon?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Levine?
Yes.
See you all later.
Hey.